Buongiorno.
Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome the press that is here present, Italian and international press connected with us. Good morning to all of those who will join us during the International Architecture Exhibition of the Biennale of Venice. 1 year has passed. We are here. Unlike last year, we are here to tell you that in International Architecture Exhibition of the Biennale di Venezia will start on the 22nd of May 2021. 1 year has passed, but it was not lost. A great director with whom I had the honor of working in my career told me, do not think that downtimes are useless. Downtimes can be very important if they are useful to understand what we had to do, what we will have to do, and what are the objectives of our actions. What is very important something that is very important for all of us, for all those who, like us in the Biennale, help to develop cultural events and perform their social and cultural duty. So this additional year we had at our disposal was not lost, although we all had to face important emergencies, very serious emergencies. This was the commitment of our curators and of all those who worked with them. I'm not only referring to Hashim Sarkis, but also the directors who last year the curators of last year's film festival, theater, music and dance festivals of 2020. Thanks to that experience, we can now face this new challenge, the opening of the International Architecture Exhibition. Allow me to thank, first of all, the commissioners and the architects of the 63 participant countries. 4 of them are at the architecture exhibition for the first time: Grenada, Iraq, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan Republic. I want to thank the curator of the Italian pavilion, Alessandro Mellis, a pavilion supported and promoted by the Ministry of Culture, Directorate General for Contemporary Creativity. Thank you, Hashim Sarkis. Thank you for sharing with passion, determination, anxiety and happiness this year together. Our meeting was not easy. This second step should be turned into a moment of joy for all of us, for all those who have worked with you, and for the whole of the world that lives around the Biennale. The attendance to the exhibition, visitors and employees, will be regulated according to precise emergency and safety rules in order to safeguard their life on the basis of the experience of what we have done last year. And this year we have, for those who are setting up the different festivals, the necessary safety and security measures will be adopted. Special Golden Lion for Lifetime Achievement in Memoriam will be awarded to Lina Bobardi, decided by Hashim Sarkis. Among those who have supported us, besides institutions, the Biennale staff, in order to organize this new great adventure, allow me to mention Rolex, an exclusive partner and an official timepiece of this event. Normally, we had a member of Rolex with us, but I will read their message. As part of its long-standing objective to contribute to both society and culture, Rolex has supported the International Architecture Exhibition for the 4th time since 2014 as exclusive partner and official timepiece. First designed by Rolex for the 2018 Biennale, the Rolex Pavilion in the Giardini this year will feature young architect Mariam Kamara, most ambitious project, a new cultural center in Niamey, Niger, designed with the guidance of her mentor, Sir David Ajaye, within the framework of the Rolex Arts Initiative. And also featured at the Rolex Pavilion will be a presentation of the refurbished Rolex Italy headquarters in Milan. Other sponsors, allow me to mention them: Edison, Artemide, Vela, Venezia Unica, Paola Lenti. Media partner of the 17th International Architecture Exhibition will be Rai Cultura, that through its 3 channels, Rai 5, Rai Storia, Rai Scuola, and with its web portal will follow the events of Biennale 2021. I want to thank the Ministry of Culture, the City of Venice, the Veneto region, the Superintendency to Archaeological, Fine Arts and Landscape goods of the heritage of the municipality of Venice and its lagoon, and the Italian Navy. I want to thank Paolo Baratta, who has decided to accompany this edition after choosing the curator, Hashim Sarkis. He has accepted to be part, to write a presentation in the catalogue. He writes, "We have confirmed that one of the aims of an international exhibition is that of increasing a desire for architecture. And I want to add that we have never before had such a need for architecture. See you in May in Venice, and allow me to pass the floor to Hashim Sarkis, the curator."
Thank you very much, Roberto. Members of the press, thank you for coming. I am very pleased to present to you the program of the 17th Architecture Biennale. This will be an expanded program that aims to amplify the proposals exhibited in the Giardini and the Arsenali. It also aims to deepen the discussions and debates around architecture and its vital role in today's society, and to spread the outreach of the Biennale from Venice to the rest of the world. In a way, this expanded program has already begun. It began a year ago when we decided to postpone the Biennale until May 2021. You were all here when President Cicutto took the tough but wise decision. We paused, we checked on each other, we reflected, and then we continued the discussion with the participants individually and collectively about the question we have asked: how will we live together? About its added significance, and how we could benefit from this extra year and the experience of the pandemic to further elaborate and refine the individual projects and the collective show. These discussions have been very enriching. They turned the Biennale from an event into an experiment, a process, an open discussion, and a true collaboration in the spirit of the theme. The expanded and inclusive platform would not have been possible had we not lost this past year. As difficult as it may have been, it was also a year that we gained. Here, I want to highlight the role that the National Pavilion commissioners and curators have played in creating a space for collaboration instead of competition. It is really the first time that such a space has been allowed and created, and I hope that it continues in the future. More on this effort will be announced soon. Throughout this past year, the press, you, have played an instrumental role in expanding the program. You have kept the Architecture Biennale, its unique and vital role, and the relevance of the question alive in front of the public, and you have generously engaged me and the participants in thinking about the future of architecture through the lens of its theme and in the context of our times. You've asked us many important questions. You've asked, have you rethought the exhibition? Are we going to be able to live together again? Is architecture still possible after the pandemic? The pandemic has no doubt made the question I asked in the form of the Biennale title, how will we live together, all the more relevant, even if somehow ironic, given the isolation that the pandemic has imposed upon us. It may indeed be a pure coincidence that we have asked the question a few months before the pandemic. However, there is a deeper connection between the two. The same reasons that led us to ask this question, climate crisis, massive population displacements, political polarizations, and growing racial, social, and ethnic and economic inequalities have led us to this pandemic. The response of architecture to these reasons will be the central thematic of the 17th Architectural Biennale. This commitment to architecture's role in society was at the center of my discussions with former President Paolo Baratta, who appointed me to this role. And over this year, it has only grown stronger. This additional year has also allowed President Roberto Cicutto to step in with a strong idea of creating collaborations and exchanges across the arts of the Biennale and between their archived past and their present. He tested this idea in the amazing collective archival exhibition of the Disquieted Muses last fall, directed by Cecilia Alemani in collaboration with the curators of the different biennales, including yours truly. This was an eye-opening show. We saw how the arts influenced each other on the platform of the Biennale and how they responded to the social turmoil of their times. We also saw how the progenitor of the Architecture Biennales, Vittorio Gregotti, strongly positioned architecture in relation to the other arts, in relation to its political context and to its larger geographic setting. I hope that the Golden Lion awarded to him in memoriam last year justly conveys the indebtedness of this Biennale to his vision. As the participants were busy restarting the preparations, they have also willfully participated in a new online program launched by the Biennale to help preview not just the work, but also the thinking behind it, and to share it with the broader audience. These sneak peeks can be seen now on the website of the Biennale and on its social media, forming something like a countdown towards the opening. Last month, we also awarded the late, great Lina Bobardi a Golden Lion in memoriam. If there is an architect who represents the theme of this Biennale, it is Lina Bobardi. Her career as a designer, editor, curator, and activist reminds us of the role of the architect as convener and, importantly, as the builder of collective visions. Lina Bobardi also exemplifies the perseverance of the architect in difficult times, whether wars, political strife, or immigration, and her ability to remain active, generous, and optimistic throughout. Above all, it is her powerful buildings that stand out in their design and in the way that they bring architecture, nature, living, and community together. In her hands, architecture becomes truly a convening social art. In brief, this is how the past year has helped us expand the Biennale. And here we are today to reconfirm, with perseverance and optimism, that we are moving forward to open on May 22nd. And moving forward from today and until the finissage in November and beyond, the program of the Biennale will be expanded in 7 main directions. Firstly, through the broadcasting of the installation process. Here, we strongly believe that the act of building the installations, as well as building in architecture, is important to describe and to share, and that the installation process, which has always been hidden from the public and the media, deserves to be carefully presented and studied. Much of the thinking and development, after all, happens during this period, and we are very happy to share it with the public now. I do hope that it will become a regular feature of the Biennales of the future. Secondly, we are expanding in another dimension, which is publications and other media. In addition to the traditional catalogs, this Biennale will feature 2 new publications. The first, aptly titled Expansions, includes short essays primarily by historians, critics, theorists, artists, but also architects, whose writings will help elucidate the theme through further intellectual elaborations. The second publication, titled Cohabitats, documents the research work of several universities around the world about how their localities have utilized architecture to enhance collaborations among citizens. The Biennale will also feature a film by Lucien Caston-Taylor and Verena Paravel that interviews a group of public intellectuals about the question of the Biennale. Thirdly, we're expanding in the dimension of dance through a collaboration with the Dance Biennale. And here, in line with the idea of collaboration among the arts as encouraged by President Cicutto, Wayne McGregor, the director of the Dance Biennale, has quickly observed the importance of the body in this Architecture Biennale and has identified with several dance groups possibilities, spaces and ideas that will express the body in space through dance. This program will be announced soon. Fourthly, we have expanded the meetings on architecture. This is a traditional component of the Biennales, but here we are preparing an extensive program of symposia and events, called Meetings on Architecture, that will be held in Venice over the 6 months of the exhibition, but mostly during the fall. These will also be broadcast online. The topics are drawn from across the 5 scales of the Biennale. They include symposia on sports, here in collaboration with the Qatar Museum of Sports and the Olympics, a special day for Venice to celebrate our host city, a weekend on sustainability, architecture after the Anthropocene, special event and symposium on spaces for listening, a day on refugees and reconstruction, and finally on architectural education. These events will be featured online, as I mentioned, and they will include several collaborations with international organizations and universities. The 5th dimension is the collective exhibitions and events. In the spirit of togetherness, there will be a special collective exhibition by all the participants in this Biennale, and there will also be collective events organized by the national pavilions. In the 6th dimension, there will be also satellite shows. There will be a series of exhibitions that will spin off from the Biennale and exhibited around the world after the finissage in November. And the 7th main dimension of expansion will be a special event that will be conducted by the V Foundation, the Vuslat Foundation, focused on generous listening and on storytelling. This is truly an inspiring project launched by the Vuslat Foundation that highlights the need to change our conception of space as a space of seeing to a space of listening. The details of all these 7 main dimensions, as well as other unique undertakings, will be announced soon. But as is hopefully clear to you by now, this Biennale departs from the conventional program of an opening, a running show, and then a closing, and it will unfold around a series of thematic events. It will expand through different media, from publications to film and dance. It will feature nested collective shows and activities, and it will continue afterwards in the form of different discussions and shows across the world. The expanded program of the Biennale is in fact a proposition of an expanded Biennale. This program follows the new direction that President Cicutto has charted out, and it would not be possible without his support. It would also not have been possible without the dedication and experience of the Biennale team in Venice, without the brilliance and perseverance of the participants and national curators and their collective imaginary, without the generosity of the sponsors and donors, without the diligence of the incredible curatorial and editorial teams, and without the hospitality and resilience of this indomitable city that always brings us together. See you all in Venice. Thank you.
Thank you, Hashim.
I would now pass the floor to Christopher Turner, curatore del Victorian Albert Museum, per un progetto congiunto.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here to announce details of the Applied Arts Pavilion special project at the Biennale, jointly organised by the Biennale and the Victorian Albert Museum, London. This important creative partnership between La Biennale di Venezia and the V&A was first initiated by former President Baratta and late V&A director, Dr. Martin Roth, in 2015, and it remains the only special project between the Biennale and an international museum. For our 5th collaboration in the Pavilion of Applied Arts, located in the Arsenale, we present 3 British mosques, co-curated by the architect and author, Shahed Salim, with V&A curators Ella Kilgallen and myself. The exhibition explores themes of immigration, hybridity, and multiculturalism through a study of 3 London mosques and their communities. Mosques in Britain are grassroots, crowdsourced community projects, and mosques have adapted to and altered British vernacular buildings. We're looking at Brick Lane Mosque, which was a Huguenot church and then a synagogue before becoming a mosque for the Bangladeshi diaspora. Old Kent Road Mosque, a conversion of a former pub that serves a largely Nigerian community, and Harrow Mosque, which used to occupy 2 terraced houses acquired by Pakistani immigrants before a purpose-built mosque was built nearby to replace it. Against the background of widespread Islamophobia, the exhibition celebrates the unique visual language of Islam that has emerged in architecture in Britain through one-to-one reconstructions of their highly decorative minbars, mihrabs, and other architectural elements. We will also show interviews with community members alongside films by the artist Julie Marsh of the mosques in use, made in collaboration with their congregations. As these mosques evolve, as community needs grow and their needs change, in many cases, ad hoc mosques are demolished and replaced with purpose-built ones. The V&A is documenting this crucial phase in the journey of Muslim architecture before it's lost. And as a legacy of this research project, 3D digital scans of the 3 mosques and test pieces of Brick Lane's high-tech minaret will enter the V&A's extensive architecture collection. The second International Architecture exhibition of La Biennale, staged in 1982, was devoted to an overview of architecture in Islamic countries. And the architecture of Venice itself is the result of creative meeting of East and West. In the stones of Venice, Ruskin writes of the Arab splendors of the city, and similar ad hoc mosques to those found in London, created in houses, former supermarkets and warehouses, are also characteristic of the Veneto region. We are proud to continue our innovative relationship with La Biennale di Venezia, and this edition, held in the context of COVID recovery, will be a tremendously important international event. At a time when relations with our European colleagues are more important than ever, we look forward to continuing our collaboration with La Biennale di Venezia for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Hashim.
Aspettando di vedervi tutti a Venezia a maggio, vi ringrazio per aver partecipato di persona o in linea alla conferenza stampa di presentazione e vi auguro buona fortuna.